Good morning once again. So, like in the last video, I have mentioned like what is the basic flow, like what are the functionalities you need to make. So, uh, in technical terms, there are six functionality that I'm looking for. That is like first of all, if you are having a patient coming to your hospital, so you need to be able to log in the details of the patient into the system. Similarly, this is a work that is for the stuffs. Okay, so this is the work for admin or like administrator because maintain doctor's detail. Okay, make sure that your staffs don't get access to the doctor's details. Yeah. Okay. Now maintain staff details. Once again, work of admin. Okay. To register and discharge a patient, this is work of a staff. To onboard output a staff or doctor, work of a doctor admin. And log the treatment received by the patient. So this is some way a work of a doctor. So this is the very basic few functionality I'm looking for. There could be some more functionality coming over you need to work on like while working on the project. So the thing is this, at first whatever the functionality is, I earlier mentioned that you need to put up a password login like user ID password kind of thing to make sure that your like proper user is getting the proper task. So the thing is like this, suppose this is your login screen. It's not like a screen, I'm not looking for any screen you to make. It's simply print out in your console. Like suppose you are in your program, you are mentioning like system out println login screen, so it will print login screen. Then the next statement you will print like choose your role. Thirdly, press 1 if you are a doctor, press 2 if you are a staff other than doctor, press A, capital A, if you are an administrator, and if any other keys are pressed then your program should exit. You can, if you are facing difficulty with the last statement like press any other key to exit, you can even omit it. It's not a big deal. So but the three requirement is this: whenever you are asking someone or you are starting the software for someone, you need to give the three option: press 1 for doctor, press 2 for staff other than the doctor, and press A for administrator. Well, so like if I consider this window, like this, suppose this is your login console, and here you can have three possibilities, like three different people can log in. First one is doctor, second one is staff, and third one is admin. So like how to make sure that proper user is login, like whoever is logging, like how the system will understand who is that person. It could happen like you, if you do not classify like internally, like if who is doctor, who is staff, then anyone can access anything. Like say for example in the in this example, suppose your doctor or like your staff should not be able to add or remove a doctor. So if you do not classify like or internally manage who is your doctor, like who is staff, then you cannot like properly um, properly segregate the task of a particular person. So to do that like we will be doing a password authentication. Like how, so for example this is my login page and I want to do credential checking, like whether you are having proper credential. So say for example we need to have three different text file. This is the first text file, admin.credential.txt. Second one is doc_credential.txt. So this will contain the credential for a doctor, and stuff is underscore credential is the credential for stuff. So I'm giving a demo like how the file will look like. So say for example I'm opening up a notepad. So in notepad, suppose this is my file name is staffcredential.txt. So first thing that in the file you should contain the name. Suppose uh, my name is abcd space xyz is my name. So after that there will be tab separated. So like this is the first field, right? This is the name, and after name you will having a tab. Then you need to provide user id. So for the person abcdxyz, he will be having the user id like ab underscore xy. whatever you want you can choose, not a big deal. And for password, say for example he has given password underscore ab. So this is the thing. So like if this data is stored into this file, and this file has been named as staff credential.txt. So suppose if someone comes up to the system and tries to log in, and when if you see the login screen, like if he presses 2, it means that that person is asking your system to let him log in as a staff. So he doesn't want to log in as a doctor, he doesn't want to log in as an administrator, as he has pressed 2. So basically he's looking for to join or to log into the system as a staff. So if he presses 2, you need to have a class internally which will read the user id provided by the user and the password correspondingly. And upon depending upon the choice, like whatever key he has pressed, he need to choose internally like which file to hit. If I show you further, say for example here in the next page, like suppose if the person has pressed 2, then the next prompt which should come up, or like next screen or next set of code that should be printed, is something like this. Suppose this is your staffs module. So welcome to staffs login page. So please enter your submit login or password. Now you will enter your user id, that is nothing but like buffer data thing that you have learned, and execute the password. So when the user will provide the user id and password, he will just put enter. So when he puts enter, and so you have two information, like whatever the user id and password has been given, that you have. And previously you have been given a choice like press 2. If he has pressed 2, key 2, so you know that person has pressed 2 and he has given some user id and password. So internally your code should be intelligent enough to check out, like for 2 is the option for staff, so the person wants to look for staff credential and he wants to log in as staff. And this when this prompt comes up, it means that he has given user id and password. So you need to now cross check whether the user id and password is correct or not. So to do that, you have one file. That file is supposed called as staff underscore credential.txt. There you have few details like abc underscore xy is the user id, and password underscore ab is equal to the password. So you need to make sure that whatever user id that the guy is providing, you are having that same user id and password combination into this file. Suppose the user id user provided like this one, ab underscore xy, but the password he has provided from prompt is, say for example, pass. So obviously the user id is matching, but the password is not matching. So in that case it should not let him log in. But say for example if he provides password underscore ab, so in that case at first your code should look for this combination ab underscore xy and password underscore ab. If this combination is there in any of the lines, suppose we have multiple user id here, multiple staff, so for multiple staff there will be multiple lines like c d e f is the name, and then probably c d e is a user id, 1 2 3 4 is password, once again e f g h is the name, and like efg is the user id, and the password is 34121. So say for so this is three different user id and password I'm having. And you need to check when the user comes up and provides the option 2, that means he wants to log in as staff. You need to cross check in the file that anywhere in the file if there is a combination that ab underscore xy and password underscore ab is there or not. So you need to cross check if any of the combination matches, then that means that the user id password combination is correct and he should be able to log in. So this is for the staff file, like staff credential. Similarly you need to have another file for the doctors, and one another file for admin. Okay, now for admin is something who is a manager of the system, right? So for manager there could be have only one manager. So in the screen, in the document, software requirement document, you can see that I have mentioned press A if you are an administrator. So suppose the user comes up and presses A, it means that he wants to log in as administrator. So in that case, you need to check cross check once again the user id and password. And suppose in this case, this is the file, and the file name is, say for example, admin underscore credential dot txt. So this is the, suppose this is the file name, and in this file, once again, the requirement is like admin or admin ISTRATUR. So name of the manager is administrator, the user ID is ADMIN, and the password is, say for example, PASS, pass underscore ADMIN. So like when the user come up and he says that okay, I'm pressing A, it means that he wants to log in as administrator, and now he has provided user ID as admin and password as password underscore admin. He is good enough now to log into the system. But if he misses the user ID and password in some way, then it will be up, like he won't be able to log in as administrator. So the same for the thing, this is the same thing you need to have for like doctors as well. So this is the first functionality you need to make, the password ID, password and user ID combination cross check. So one clue, like in this particular file, or like this file, if you consider, you can see that we have multiple user ID password combination, right? So the first column, you can say this is the name, and this is the your user ID, and this is your password. So if what you can do, you need to read the content of the file at first, like how to justify or like how to check whether this is a proper user ID password combination. So how to do that? At first you need to read the whole content of the file. This is only 3 or 4 records. You just take small number of records, not a big deal, but I just want you to implement the functionality. So once you get that, you already know like how to print every line of a file. You have already got the code, like read the file, that code that I have given last day, or like the read file or write file operation that we did in class. So you already know like how to print every line. So whenever printing, basically you are doing some looping on top of the data. So for when you are reading the data or looping through the data, you need to cross check whether this particular combination is there in not. So that is the requirement. Even if you see that it is getting complex for you, simply do this. You just put name comma user ID, name password. Once again, it's quite similar. Now all you need to do, just read every line and then split the data using comma, and then you need to take the first index and second index. So like say for example, the first line I'm reading the first line. So my first line, suppose, is this: str and string str equal to this. So this is my first line. So all I need to do, I need to just string dot sp sorry split split on the basis of comma, because like multiple fields are separated by comma. And post that, all you need to do, you just, okay, if you split, it will give you back an array. So in the array, you just need to take the first element. It's the first, sorry, second element, which is you need to access like this. This is the second element, which is nothing but the user ID. Second element, which is user ID, and str dot split once again, and here once again comma, and you need to take the second one. This is basically the third element, and it will give you the password. Third element equal to password. Well, so when you are reading from the console, like, or the user has provided the user ID and password, obviously we will be reading to buffer reader and the input stream reader, and obviously we will be storing the input user ID and password both in some string. So say for example, you have already your user provided string, or user provided user ID stored into like this: user underscore underscore provid provided underscore id is something he has given. Say for example, str, sorry, um, id, and user underscore provid provided underscore pass equal to something like password. So all you need to do, like, you have two variable which is containing user provided id and user provided password, and you have your file from where you are getting the user id and password. So for every line of the data that you have stored into the password file, or like the like user ID password combination file, like this is the like staff credential.txt, you need to cross check whether this user ID password is matching with any of the line. So suppose I am reading for the first line. So for my first line, this line will give me the output of ab underscore xy, and for this line it will give me password underscore ab. So I need to cross check whether after getting this for the first line, am I getting the result, the user provided id dot equals to whom is nothing but the this one. So you need to cross check this way whether the user provided id is matching properly with the id of it, and correspondingly user provided password is matching with the password stored into the file. So if any case it is matching, you just need to raise the flag, okay, you have successfully logged in. So this is the functionality you need to make for like login. So that's all for the second part. Thank you.